pricing, and but the problem is, even though prices are going up at the point of sale, costs are certainly going up around labor and energy. We all know that. It's been really significant. Although there has been a net increase in equity value for farms in the Midwest, a record increase in the last 2 years. Farmers have more cash than they've had probably in 100 years, factored for inflation even in the Midwest because of what's happened with energy. So that's an interesting issue. There are two markets in the world, the cheap versus quality food markets. We see that. I'll talk more about that. Obviously, we believe that the quality food market is where California needs to be, and there are lots of trends showing that that's emerging, that all of the entrepreneurs out there running companies understand that. So California producers who are trying to feed the low-end market are going to have a really tough time. And so the secret, obviously, is this idea of differentiation. Quality products can thrive. But there's other things. The energy crisis obviously is going to persist. So that's going to impact places that have long shipping distances. We know it looks like we're going to have a moderate to severe economic downturn in the next couple of years. We also know that despite that downturn, the trends indicate, and companies are planning, and this is the important thing, the big food companies are planning on the idea that the demand for healthy, local, sustainable food will continue. If you look at Walmart, if you look at Cisco, the large distributor, if you look at the large Unilever, the major manufacturers of food in this country, they are all planning on 5% per annum, 4 to 5% per annum increase in costs, pricing. That is, they believe they have inflation hooked in at 4 to 5% over the next 10 years annually. Food prices are going to go up. That's what they're working on. That's the economic model they're working on. And they also believe that the trend is going to be towards local, sustainable, healthy food. And so even given current conditions, this seems a persistent trend. So the other important thing to know is that food producers who are exporting to those regions of the world that are doing well, China, India, other areas, will in fact continue to do well, and that those who are feeding export-oriented industries will do well. So what I mean by that, high technology companies in the Bay Area are going to continue to do well because they are supplying a growing market all around the world. So therefore, those counties, those regions, agricultural regions around San Francisco that are able to feed those people who are feeding export industries, export markets, will have a tendency to be resilient in a downturn. That's I think, the important point. So, networks, clusters, differentiated and target markets. The idea of networks is not new. It's old. But it's going through kind of an updating. It really began in the high technology world. And we know, if you look at the fastest growth companies, the most important technological companies in the world, they are companies that are built upon the concept of networks, supplying and servicing networks. From Cisco with a C, which is the supplier of networking equipment, to Google, to Yahoo, to all the other companies that are involved in Facebook, people that are using the internet to sell products, provide linkages. Those companies are the companies that are thriving. Because the old economic systems that were in place are in flux. And what's happening is there's a reorganization of the economy going on, and the networks are providing the way for that to happen in all different ways. In the food system, if you look at the growth companies right now, for instance, Organic Valley is one of the fastest, well, is the fastest growing dairy in the United States. Why? It is a network of growers who have joined a co-op and are now regionally based. It began in Wisconsin, and now it's all over the United States, with growers joining a co-op, adding value to their crops, talking about what they're doing, and capturing huge markets. The other one it began as Oregon Country Beef, a really interesting beef company started by some ranch families, originally 7 ranch families in southeast Oregon, which is now Natural Country Beef, which is all over the United States. Again, it's a network of ranchers who have associated in a partnership. It's not a co-op. It's actually a LLC, where they have associated and collectively been able to purchase sections of feedlots to finish their cattle and add value through their marketing campaigns, and they've grown. There are now, they at one point, well, they went from 7 to 14 to 70, and now there are over 100 different ranches across the United States who are participating in this natural country beef. There are many other examples. I'll stop there for now. The other important thing that's emerging, and this actually has been going on in Europe, the high-value agricultural countries of Europe, Italy particularly, France, the Netherlands, have been doing this for quite a long time. The idea of clusters, where agricultural producers cluster in certain areas based on their competitive advantages, and then they link with allied industries who can use their byproducts or can supply them with the things that they need, and they create industry clusters. And Italy has the most advanced systems for this, but the Netherlands is quite extensive as well, and France. So these are things, these are opportunities, I think, and I'll talk more specifically about where I think where they could fit in here in this county. And then all of those networks and clusters are really focused on the idea of